Home, broadcasting for the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast for the DVC.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us on episode 5 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, and I'm here as always with Trevor and Damon.
This is Damon, as usual. We're here to talk about Disney stuff, that's all we have.
In your entire life, Damon? That's all you...
That's it, that's all I got. Especially today. Today is all about Disney stuff.
And I'm Trevor, and I'm obviously here to just dump Disney out of my brain, because that seems to be what I
do. Tom, you lose this round of introductions, I'm just telling you now.
Man, I need a more interesting thing to say. Well, we do have lots of great things to talk about this week, including keeping your family safe at Walt Disney World. There were a couple stories that came out recently about that we're going to talk about, that pertain to that, and actually within pretty much a week of each other. So good to talk about those things. Definitely some more Pandora discussion. Obviously, the park's opening, as this podcast is being released, it's the first weekend. And there's some really strong rumors out there about Paint the Night Parade over at Disneyland and the Universe of Energy Pavilion. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, before we do that, we're going to get into our weekly DVC topic. And this week, we're going to talk about DVC perks. It's something that we were kind of talking about amongst ourselves, just not on the podcast, right? About all the different things. And, we always see, too, out on the DVC boards, there's like it seems like a lot of people don't know the perks that are available to them through DVC. They buy this thing.
Yeah,
that's you? You don't
know?
That's me.
So, it's funny. I think I brought this topic up because, I kind of wanted to know what was out there that I'm obviously missing. I know none of this stuff. I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, the only thing that I know about is the member cruises. That's about it. And I just...
Oh, really?
That's it. I don't really know anything else. We go and we're happy that we get what we get, right? We've never used it for any sort of discounts anywhere. I've never used it for anything.
I think my favorite part of this podcast, Damon, is that every time we do it, you learn things. About your membership.
I'm like the common man. I think, that's me, the guy that knows nothing. So bring me on and talk to me like we're talking to people that don't understand DVC.
Well, then let me be the other side of the spectrum, because I'm the guy who spends way too much time reading all this stuff.
Me too. I like to save every penny I can.
See, and what happens is I've been trying to actually read up, but then I don't want to ruin these episodes, right? So I look and I'm like, should I read that? I don't know, right? That might be too much for me. Let me just stay away, because I know Tom and Trevor probably have read it already. They probably read it 3 days ago, so I think I'll be okay.
Well, honestly, I think some of the stuff I read when I first got my DVC membership, so that was last year sometime.
Well, go ahead.
So I guess the thing is, if you're looking on the website at the DVC perks, the list is really, really long. There is a ton of stuff they have on there, because they itemize a lot of stuff that, I guess the first thing is when you go anywhere, if you're buying something or you're having a sit-down meal or whatever, even if they don't ask for your DVC membership, you should mention that you have it, because a lot of times there is a discount there that people don't know about. And that's one of the bigger things, I guess, is you can get, it's 10% off on your food and 20% off on merchandise and stuff like that. I mean, that's the obvious stuff, right?
Well, and I by the way, I'm on the website right now. 309 results for discounts at events.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot.
I just like paying Disney a lot of extra money, I guess. That's about it.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to save some money here, because, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the cool benefits are, things like the special member events, the Moonlight Magic. They do member bowling every single week. Right now they have a painting thing going on where they're doing painting up on the Top of the World lounge, which is another perk that we'll talk about in a minute. They do a fireworks cruise. They've got a special Soarin' tour, actually, that I have been trying to get a reservation for about 6 months. And they only do one a week, and it's early in the morning, and they have very limited space for it. So I have no idea how anybody gets that tour.
You have to know somebody. That's the thing.
I do. That's what I need to know someone at DVC that can hook me up.
How far out can you book it, though?
I'm not entirely sure how far, because I feel like tours you can just book out at any time, right? I don't know.
Well, listen,
so
if we get 20,000, subscribers, we'll get you on the tour, right?
All right.
I was going to say, so even outside of DVC, when I'm looking to book any kind of like dessert parties or anything, it seems the window is like you can't actually see anything further than about 6 months out. So
that's probably right, I would think.
Yeah, I gotta wonder if you're planning to do one of these, you obviously want to try and book it.
What is a dessert party? Like now I'm like kind of like upset because I don't know what that is. That's the one that, like, again, I'm looking at your list and I'm like, all right, there's certain things, but what the heck is a dessert party and why don't I know about them?
Trevor, have you done any of these?
I have done the Phantasmic dessert party in Disneyland.
Okay. What is that? What is it? So is it a pay thing in just DVC? Okay.
Well, no, this actually wasn't even DVC. So these dessert parties, they offer them both in and out of DVC. But if you go in DVC, there is a discount, and also there are some dessert parties that are specific to DVC. So you can still book them like just going through the Disney website. But basically what it is that, so for a certain event like fireworks or Phantasmic or stuff like that, you go ahead of time. So like if Phantasmic is showing at 9 o'clock, you show up somewhere at 8 o'clock, you sign in, and then they've got like this dessert buffet, and it's like all the usual stuff like squares and whatnot. There's like a sundae table and all this stuff. So then you go and you have your dessert, and it's like a sectioned off area. So you're not having to like crowd in to go and get your food. Like everyone's just kind of sitting and relaxing. And then depending on the dessert party. So the one in Magic Kingdom is you just sit on the Tomorrowland Terrace and you get a table with a view of the fireworks. So you get like a nice quiet place to sit and watch the fireworks. The one in Hollywood Studios is so they do the dessert party in one of the buildings, and then they take you out to a viewing area where you can watch the Star Wars spectacular stuff.
And so some of these are DVC only, though.
Well, it's not that it's exclusive to DVC. It's that they offer, like, it's the same dessert party that you can get in and out of DVC. Okay. It's just that they have specific dates reserved for DVC.
And I've done 2 of these actually. So it's not something you do all the time because they are pricey. We've done them for special events. So they did one. There's one called the Sparkling Dessert Party at Epcot where there's alcohol. So you can actually drink while you're watching Illuminations, which is pretty cool. But also, I mean, it was like really done up. I mean, like they were like flambeing like churros in front of us for like fresh churros and all sorts of cool stuff. It was delicious. It was so good.
But there are some. You're saying there are certain ones that are only DVC, or are you just saying there's a discount for DVC members?
There's a discount for DVC.
Okay, so you're never going to go to one of these dessert parties where it's just specifically for DVC. That's what I guess what I was getting at. Okay, I was just making sure. You're just saying that there's a discount for DVC. I get it.
That being said, there are some parties that are different that are specifically for DVC. So
correct. Yeah.
There is the annual holiday party at the end of the year that I actually went to a couple of years ago. You get a free DVC ornament. They have food there. They have like a DJ and like a dance party thing. They were selling Vera Bradley bags on like extreme discounts. So of course, my wife bought one of those. So, so there was a lot of cool things that were going on there, and it's a really cool event. And that one doesn't cost anything. The dessert parties do cost money, but the holiday.
So
party
how did you get into that then? So is it just like a lottery sort of thing, or first come first serve, or
no? You call it. I mean, it's in a huge venue. It's a gigantic venue.
Okay.
So I mean, it's. I don't know if you've ever been back there before, but there's these giant buildings that they use for like huge events that are right in Epcot, like right in the World Showcase, just a little bit behind some of the walls there, and you can see them if you look for them. But if you didn't look for them, you never know they're there. But it's a gigantic. They probably had over 1,000.
So it's like a conference room.
So anybody that's there during that time, in theory, that's DVC probably has an opportunity to go because there's that much room.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We still got reservations. But it wasn't, it wasn't hard to get. It wasn't like the Soarin' Tour where it was seemingly impossible to get a reservation to it.
So what are the Moonlight Magic events then? So their stuff, again, DVC only or not DVC only?
These are DVC specific events. And so far this year there's been, they've had it at Magic Kingdom, There's one coming up for Typhoon Lagoon, which I believe is in June, July.
It's actually when I'm there, because I thought very hard about doing it. And,
You're not going?
It's the last night of my vacation, and we talked about it, but we also thought to ourselves, it's the last night. We kind of like to, park hop and like take in what we want to take in.
Do we have a way just to kick him out for the rest of the episode or no?
Well, it's funny you say that, because 2 years ago I registered for the same event at Typhoon Lagoon and didn't show up because we were just too tired to just go. We were wiped out. Everyone fell asleep and just were, it was like day 3, like when you hit that wall, like day 3 or 4 at Disney, where you're just like, oh, I'm so tired. I can't do this all day, every day.
Is the Typhoon Lagoon one in because of the new ride? Are they planning anything right? Is that ride open yet?
It is open.
Okay.
Misadventure Falls
or something. Yeah.
But it's not necessarily around the new ride. They just do it.
Okay,
as kind of like a reward. It's they basically just open the park just for DVC members.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's free.
So
it's free too.
Even though Tom's not going, I'm actually planning to go to the one in Animal Kingdom in September.
Okay.
So
these are on the website, these things?
Yes.
And you said, wait, so these are free or not free?
They're free.
Okay. So I don't know. See, I don't know why I don't know about these things.
Maybe we shouldn't say free. We should say incled with all the.
There you go. Okay.
They are a perk of being a DVC member, which you have to pay for.
That's funny though. Like I said, I never would have known, nor would I have thought to actually look.
So I've actually been really chomping at the bit for the one coming up in September, because I want to make sure that I get booked for it. One thing that I did find out, because I called member services, is that so anybody who has a reservation on site for the time when these events are going on, they get an email first before anybody else that the event is open for booking. So even before it shows up on the website, if you're staying on site at that particular time, they will let you know that the event is there for you. And then a couple days later, they open it up for everybody else to book.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. And these have... Oh, I'm sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's only specific to the Moonlight Magic event. Some of the other regular stuff, like the member bowling night at Splitsville and stuff like that, those just keep happening. And like in your case, Damon, if you didn't know that it was going on, then they don't send out any notifications or anything. But on the DVC member website, there is actually a calendar for all these weekly events too.
Okay. Now, is there something every week in theory or no?
Yep.
Okay.
Multiple things a week, actually.
Yeah, and not all of them are free. The free ones are kind of few and far between, in a lot of ways. But, those Moonlight Magic ones are cool because, they'll basically keep the park open just for DVC members. They did one a few months ago in Magic Kingdom, and they did special fireworks just for the DVC members. There was, there's food, there's music, like they leave the rides open. It's just kind of it's almost like, I almost want to say it's extra magic hours on steroids, right? It's kind of what it is. It's like it's almost like you have the park to yourself, and it's really a very exclusive kind of event. And I'm kind of sad I haven't got. Every time I go, it's always the water parks, and I'd prefer it to be like if it were Epcot or if it were Magic Kingdom, any of the parks, besides the water parks, we would so do it, even though it was our last night.
The water parks are not your favorite?
Yeah, we were talking about this kind of before we started recording, that my wife and I do not do the water parks. We are not water park fans at all. So
Man, that hurts my feelings. I feel though, at least I bring something to the table. Those are probably our favorite areas. Like I said, we've done the surfing. The surfing before the park opened, phenomenal. We love the water parks and would not miss them, even though my wife is probably, the same as you guys are. And she does not like to go. So actually what I enjoy is I get to take the kids by myself to the water park. One of the main reasons why we actually got our kids swimming so early was because when we kind of went to the parks and it was just me, right, with 3 kids, I couldn't actually feel comfortable with all of them being safe and things like that. So I was like, you know what, we came back from that. We actually went on the slide over at Typhoon Lagoon, and like there was a little bit of, oh my goodness, like is she going to pop her head above water? So we said, when we get back, everyone's getting in the pool, everyone's making sure they're safe, so when we come back to the water parks, that we're good.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. We're big water park people.
Us too. It's one of my favorite things.
Well, some of the other things that are done, and I'm kind of really sad that I'm not local to make this happen. They were doing member previews for DVC members of Pandora, where they were letting members register early along with annual pass holders to come and check out Pandora before everybody else. And which is very cool. I have to say, though, I know all of us are part of DVC groups on Facebook, and it was really frustrating to see everybody posting their pictures, and I'm like, man, so jealous. I wish I could be there. You know?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, but again, there's certain things that are enjoyable with, a lot more people, and it's going to be interesting no matter when, But previews are good.
I just the idea of being there before anybody else has been there is kind of a cool thing, because like 20 years from now, you're like, yeah, I remember when that was open. I was one of the first people there. You know what I mean? That kind of thing is kind of neat to me, but
yeah.
Doesn't matter too much.
So the only benefit I have to say that I'm a big fan of and that I use all the time is that Epcot Lounge.
Oh, it's the best.
Love the Epcot Lounge.
I swear it's the best. And I know Trevor, you haven't gotten to take advantage of that yet, right?
No, I haven't.
This upcoming trip, but.
Yeah.
Make sure you have. So Tom, when you went, what did you have to show?
So you have to show your member ID. They did not check my license for that one, though.
Okay.
So and what I've been doing lately, and I think I've mentioned this on previous podcasts, is I get the digital ID, and then I take a screenshot of it on my phone, and then I take a picture of my driver's license on my phone, so I don't bring the cards with me at all. I just show them the digital one, and then I show them the picture of my driver's license. I've only gotten hassled once about it.
So here's a helpful tip, too. So we brought nothing, right? No cards, no license, no nothing. We actually logged into the DVC website from your phone. They will actually accept that as proof as well. So at least that's when we went last time. That was an acceptable thing, too. Now, trying to get to the DVC website on my phone at that point was not very fun, but it was doable, and they were, that was good enough for them.
Using Disney World's garbage Wi-Fi?
No, I think I was on an LTE at that point. It wasn't that. It's just that, their website, it was not mobile friendly at that point.
Okay.
And, using I want to say I probably had an iPhone 5 or something. It was a little difficult
3G.
to get my fingers to type that stuff going on. So.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. And that's why I, definitely prepare ahead of time, because they will not let you up there without a card. And they can't really look you up, I don't think, from there.
They cannot. And even if they could look you up, how can you prove it's you, right? So that's why they said they accepted me logging in. That was okay. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore, so don't hold me to that, but just in case.
Well, next time before you go, you just download that digital card, you take a screenshot, and then you always have it in your pictures.
So the digital card is part of the Disney app at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
So DVC actually offers a digital version of your card. It only lasts for 3 months. It's like a temp card almost.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the DVC member website.
Yes. It's exactly right.
But it's part of the regular app you would use for everything else, or no?
No,
this is
it's its own app.
Yeah,
it's not really even an app. It's really just you'll go on the website and you'll click on digital card, and it literally just I think it sends you an email with like a PDF of it. Okay. And then you can open. So what I've done is just I open the PDF, and then I just take a screenshot and make it a photo, and then I don't have to dig through my email. I just pull up my photos, and boom, there it is. It makes it super, super simple to do it. And like I said, I've only gotten hassled one time about it, and truth be told, that was right after the digital membership cards rolled out, so maybe it just was one of those things where all of the cast members weren't used to seeing it, and maybe he just thought it was a little sketchy. I don't know, but usually
that's a good tip That's a good tip. We need the little music, the tip music to play right here, right?
I'll come up with a sound effect for tips. I think I can figure that out. Like a little sound of like an idea happening or something.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great. So here's the other thing I'm not really familiar with is the Top of the World Lounge. I don't think I've been, right? Now, that's not where... I'm trying to think. So that just came with Bay Lake when they redid for DVC or no?
Yeah, so basically, and I own at Bay Lake. So it used to only be Bay Lake... people staying at Bay Lake were allowed up there.
Okay.
Then they started letting all the riffraff,
the riffraff,
all the other resorts, But it used to just be the Bay Lake, people staying there. But it's basically on the top floor of Bay Lake. Have you ever eaten at California Grill?
No.
No, at the top of Contemporary. So basically, it's kind of a similar check-in. You check in at the ground floor. Again, you show your ID. They also scan your Magic Band. And that's an important caveat in this because you cannot just show up to the lounge and go
with
up
a
there.
DVC card. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what I mean by that is they only let you do it if you're staying on property. Whether you're paying cash or points, as long as you're staying at a Disney hotel, you can go up there. However, if you were just like, in town for business or something like that and staying at some, hotel and you decided, hey, I want to go to the top of the world, they're not going to let you up there. So,
and this is just DVC.
This is just DVC.
How big is it?
It's big. It's kind of the whole roof of Bay Lake. And we've been up there a couple times. They have great drinks. It's actually kind of themed to the monorail, which is really neat. It's kind of like a retro-y like monorail theme.
It's got a full restaurant up there as well?
Not full. So it's like appetizers.
It's a lounge, right?
Yeah, it's a lounge. So there's it's like pretzels and like just little appetizers. But I will say we've ordered appetizers up there and they're very good. They're really good and they're big. They're nice size. They do have desserts, but they also have a lot of specialty drinks up there too. Really cool place.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
It's a lounge, but do they let the kids come up there as well, or
They do. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go up there with your whole family and watch the fireworks if you want to.
100%. Yeah.
Well, so does it get super crowded because of that?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So a couple things here. So first of all, when you get there, you have to show your ID, and they take you up on like a special elevator. So first of all, you feel super VIP when you do that, especially when you have guests with you. It's like they're like super impressed by that. But you can bring guests with you. I want to say it's a limit of 6 per DVC member card.
Okay.
So I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's 6 per DVC member card. But I would say if you're going to go up there to watch the fireworks, get up there at least a half hour early because it does get busy up there sometimes. They do turn all the lights down and they do turn on the show music, and part of it is outside and part of it is inside. So it's the actual inside part is all glass. It's glass all the way around, so you can see stuff from there. But you can also walk out on the balcony, and there's it's a ton of space outside, and you can see not only can you see like Magic Kingdom really well, you can see Epcot from there, and you can see Hollywood Studios from there. There's actually a little sign up there that says look this direction, and you can see Epcot, and it's pretty easy to see all that stuff, but. They take all the lights down and they play the show music, from the fireworks show. I will say, me personally, I do not like the view from Top of the World for fireworks. I think it's cool to do once, but I think if you really want to watch the fireworks, you got to do it in Magic Kingdom, especially with this new show that is so much based on projections and things like that. I feel like you're going to miss out on a lot. Trevor, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so 2 things. One, so we're Bay Lake Towers. That's kind of, I guess if you're looking at the gate to Magic Kingdom, it's kind of off to the left, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of, I can see that the angle would be kind of weird.
It is.
The other thing, too, is that there is also the fireworks cruise, which you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So I guess depending on how bad you are just wanting to watch the fireworks, it sounds to me almost like the fireworks cruise might be a better choice if you want to do something that's not standing in Magic Kingdom.
So the firework cruises, again, these are, I've done one, but not I don't think the one that we're talking about here, right? So there's different firework cruises.
Well,
right?
There's a DVC only one. So
that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah, they do a DVC
Is that every
only
night?
one. It's every week. I think they do it once a week or so.
Okay.
I want to say it's once a week. I don't know if you know Trevor, but I'm pretty sure
Damon does not know.
Damon does not know.
I didn't read into detail on that on the website because there's just way too much stuff to go through.
And I have to say, so we did a fireworks cruise on our honeymoon, which was great. It was a lot of fun because they take you on a tour of the lake. You got to see where River Country used to be, and the abandoned Disney Island that used to have all the animals on it and all that fun stuff. That was cool to see, but you really don't see the castle at all. During the whole thing. So for me, my personal preference is to be right in front of the castle when I'm seeing the nighttime show there. But it is cool to see the fireworks from Top of the World. I would recommend doing it at least once if you want to do that. It's fun to have a drink, in your hand, and you're with a bunch of people, but it's a little more intimate. But like you said, the fireworks, because of the way they shoot off, you're used to standing in front of Cinderella Castle and seeing them go right above the castle. When you're seeing it from Bay Lake, because of where it's located, it's weird because they're off to the right. They're way off to the right. And it just kind of screws up your whole perspective. And also, too, we've been there before. We've seen the fireworks maybe 2 or 3 times up there. And, they don't play the show music very loudly, so if people are talking or being loud, you can't really hear it that well. So there's that too to consider, but I'm not saying not to do it. I think you should definitely check it out once, and should definitely just go up there just to hang out. It's a cool lounge. Really well designed. The drinks are really good. The food is actually pretty reasonable.
Hey, Trevor, have you heard the common theme here? There's a lot about those drinks up there. I'm just saying.
Man, you guys, what?
It wasn't me this time.
I actually don't think I had any drinks up there. Now that I think about it, thank you, Trevor. That I can recall. That's right. I mean, maybe I had a lot. Who knows? But no, it's a cool bar up there, and we had a good time. Going up there, and I almost It's a neat place to check out, especially if you have guests. Like I said, I'll never forget. I took my in-laws came with us one time, and we took them up there. And we're standing up, we're looking around, and then we see the fireworks, and the electric water pageant is happening on the water, right? So so we see that, and it's a cool view of that too. And I don't remember if it was my father-in-law or mother-in-law, but one of them looked at me and said, "How much did you guys pay for this?" And just because they just thought it was the coolest perk, and that it was just such a neat lounge and cool view, and they just couldn't believe that was something that we had as part of that. So they actually kind of said the same thing when we were at the lounge at Epcot too, because we're up there and they have.
Wait, you can bring people up there too? See, I did not know that.
You can bring.
Is 5 per card.
I want to say it's 5 per card. Yeah.
So, what do you mean by card? Okay, so is that just adults, or is that So, or does that include everybody? If my kids don't have cards, or do they? Right, I forget about
your kids wouldn't have cards unless they're over 18, I think, or 18.
I think it's whoever is listed on the deed, right? So whoever's listed on the membership, so your wife would have a card,
and I would have a card. So in theory, we could bring 10 people up there.
Yeah. So and there's a couple things to note, by the way, about the lounge too. The lounge is awesome. First of all, because it's air conditioning, right? And B, it's really, really a very pretty lounge. You can get some really cool views because it's all glass around you. And if you guys don't know, it's in the Imagination Pavilion. So if you've seen those glass pyramids that are right by where Figment is, it's up there, and it's it's just beautiful. And then they have Coke Freestyle machines, so you can get.
I drink way too much soda when I'm there, but yes, I would agree.
Oh yeah, because you way overdo it there, and they have coffee though too. Which who's drinking coffee when it's 100 degrees out and humidity? But neither here nor there. But the Coke Freestyle machines are there. You can get those. Apparently, they bring out snacks sometimes, which I've been in that lounge 10 times and never once seen snacks there.
And I've always gotten snacks every single time I've gone.
Frustrating.
See, that might be, you know what though, Tom? That may be a kid thing, right? They look and go, no kids? Yeah, whatever. They know what's going to happen if they don't bring snacks out and there's kids there. There's going to be chaos.
Well, truthfully, my favorite popcorn in all of the parks is at a cart that's right in front of the Imagination Pavilion. It's the best popcorn ever, so we always go and buy that popcorn and then take it up into the lounge, eat the popcorn, and drink the free soda. And
that's probably why, because you're going up there with snacks already.
That's true. And that's true. Now, the other underutilized thing at the lounge, too, is they will give you phone chargers as well. So they have phone chargers built into all the tables, and they will give you a cord to charge your phone. So while you're sitting there in the air conditioning lounging around, you can also charge your phone, too, which I think is awesome. Yeah. I hope they keep that perk for a long time, because I love that one. I think that one is really cool.
I mean, we could also get Anchor to sponsor the podcast, and then maybe they send us all little, chargers too.
That's true. That would be great. But yeah, so the two lounges, and there's been some pretty heavy rumors. Nothing confirmed that they're going to add maybe another lounge or two. At some of the other parks. I think that would be awesome. The more perks.
Where would you want it? Right. So all right. So that's the question.
Magic Kingdom.
Oh no, I'm going to say Hollywood Studios.
It's too small right now, though.
Well, but no, after Star Wars.
But the lines are so long. If the lines are so long, that's where I need it.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, Magic Kingdom, in my mind, it seems the easiest to navigate. Or I guess maybe I'm just used to it. So I don't feel the need to go somewhere and stop for an extended period of time. But yeah, I could see when Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land open up, Hollywood Studios is going to need somewhere to have a break.
I feel like I need a break there all the time though, because that center area is so hot. It's just so hot.
That's what everyone says about Animal Kingdom is it's like always so sweltering hot there, even though I think it has more shade than anywhere else.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I would say the same thing. I think there's a lot of shade at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
I agree
because
too.
you've got all the rainforests and everything.
Yeah.
Right? You can go wander through the palace.
Who you been talking to, Tom?
Oh, I know. It's one of those things. My wife always said that, and I thought maybe it was just my wife complaining about the heat. But really, I've seen it a bunch on the DVC boards where they'll say things like, you know what they do? It's the hottest
you know
part.
what though? You know what they don't have there is they don't have as many mist machines there though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably true. I don't know. I think it's maybe though because of those tropical plants, maybe like it gets that like that humidity like jungle feel to it sometimes. I think there, but I mean,
then they've done their job. Right?
I mean, right? Theming to the nth degree, right? So I agree with you. I'm totally on board because I think I've said this before on the podcast that Animal Kingdom is my favorite Disney park, and I know that's in a lot of people's cases it's their least favorite, and I disagree. So, but whatever, it's all good. But yeah, I would like to see one there. I think that would be a cool thing too. I mean, I would like to see them at all the parks. I love the one at Epcot so much. I mean, literally. We'll be at Epcot, and we'll maybe stop there like 3 times in a day.
But you know what I think the problem is? Have you ever been there and it's been packed? Because I've never been there and it's been packed, ever.
I haven't either. Usually it's not packed at all. I know they do take people's names down to make sure it doesn't get overloaded. Mm-hmm. But, the one big downside, Trevor, just so you know this, and so everybody listening knows this too, there are no bathrooms up there at all. So, and there is an elevator, but there's no bathrooms up there. So just so you know.
So, but there's bathrooms right in the Imagination Pavilion anyway, right? So you can just go downstairs and
you just have to go down the stairs. Yeah,
and you'll need to before you go up and drink all the free soda.
Oh yeah, all the free varieties
drink
of
the free soda and then hit the bathroom.
All the ridiculous free soda that you can get, like hundreds of varieties.
Favorite free soda?
Yeah.
What is it? So what's your
Diet Dr. Pepper Cherry Vanilla?
Okay, I'm gonna go Vanilla Sprite.
Ooh.
Yeah, Vanilla Sprite is pretty good.
What about Vanilla Root Beer? I've done that one too. That's a good one.
That's not bad. But I said Vanilla Sprite is probably my go-to. Again, we're drivers, right? So when we were in New Jersey, what would end up happening is that we would get ready to drive. I wouldn't drink caffeine for like 4 weeks before we're ready to go, right? Jump in the car, have some Dr. Peppers, Pepsi, Coke, whatever, didn't matter. Use that as a way to actually get to Disney because otherwise I'd be driving off the road. The same thing. So when I'm at Disney, again, you know that I love my early bedtimes anyway, right? I don't want to be up because I have caffeine, no caffeine. And then when we're driving home, so what would happen is we would drive down and stop somewhere halfway and then go. But driving home, it's always like, I just want to go home. There's no benefit for me not driving through. So 18 hours straight, sometimes it turns into, 19. I need that caffeine, so I've avoided that. So, Tom, you're probably right. I may have changed my, choice of soda if it was a caffeine time, but otherwise I'm a Sprite kind of guy.
There's nothing wrong with Sprite.
I kind of like the orange Fanta myself, or the orange vanilla Fanta.
Okay, that's another like a creamsicle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a creamsicle in a cup. So
yeah.
What are the snacks that they bring up there? Like I've never seen them. What kind of snacks do they usually bring?
Cookies, crackers, sort of thing.
Okay.
Pretzels, that sort of thing.
No Mickey ice cream bars?
No, I not that I've seen. Not that I've seen.
All right, we need to petition. We need to petition DVC for free ice cream bars.
Yes, that would be good. So we're going to go on to what other discounts we have at the restaurant stuff. Again, things I know nothing about.
So
before that, I want to mention though, this is really cool, and I don't know if anybody, you probably haven't taken advantage of this, Damon. Actually, probably Trevor, you haven't either. You can get DVD rentals at any of the DVC resorts. So. And they have a huge catalog of DVDs. Huge. Like every Disney movie that's ever been made, pretty much, except for Song of the South. Because we know they buried that one. But
they still use DVDs, though?
They do, yeah. So they rent them out.
Okay.
I mean, I would expect
free or
all
rent?
The rooms have DVD players, right?
Yeah, so some of the rooms don't. So it is free. They rent in quotes. It is so it doesn't cost anything. I think you can only take out one at a time, but you just go to Is
this everybody or DVC
library.
people again?
I believe it's just DVC people that can do it. I don't know if it's... No, it definitely is, because I remember the woman hassled me last time because I forgot to bring my card with me, and I'm like, listen, I'm staying in Kidani Village. It's, I'm DVC.
Yeah.
I can vouch. So
there should be like a code word. There should be a code word, right?
Secret handshake.
Yes, exactly. Something like that.
The secret DVC handshake. But no, it's and so not all the rooms do have DVD players, but you can if they rent you one, they'll also give you a DVD player if your room doesn't have one. So which can be good for getting the kids a movie really quick. I think that's a cool benefit. But yes, on to discounts. I think Trevor, you were going to say something about this.
Well, so we kind of covered some of it at the beginning, but so discounts. So almost all Disney restaurants are 10 to 20% off. You have to actually go look on the website to figure out which is which. It does vary by restaurant. And something to keep in mind with this, and they say this right on the website, is all of these perks are subject to change. So just because this is how it is right now, don't assume that it'll be this way in a year, because they do like to change it around. They like to offer new things, and they'll take away. And the problem is if they offer something new, they do have to sometimes take something away. So don't be disappointed if you're listening to this a year from now and this isn't the case.
Yes,
so that's even like quick serve stuff and everything?
Yep. Yeah.
Why don't I do this then? I don't understand why I don't do this.
So this is what I was saying, Damon, is when you go, keep that DVC card on your phone. Yep. And when you go anywhere, even if they don't mention it, because a lot of places are pretty good about saying, are you a DVC member or an annual pass holder? Even if they don't say it, just say to them, I'm a DVC member. Do I get a discount? And if they say no, whatever. If sometimes they'll say, yeah, for sure, and they just forget to mention it. So
I feel like I'm leaving hundreds of dollars there, and now I'm not happy anymore.
I mean, especially if
I'm going to go on a Facebook page and complain now.
Okay. Especially if you're buying merch, man, because you get 20% off at the Disney merchandise locations. That's a big discount.
That is
huge, I think maybe that my wife knows about this and that she does that. Maybe she does it without me, because she's usually the one where they're buying stuff for the kids, and I have to leave. I'm like, look, I've been in the store for an hour. I've seen everything 10 times already. I need just to walk out the store.
Stuff?
No, she doesn't show up with extra stuff, but maybe she knows about this, and she's just doing that, and I don't know. But I know for me, I'm usually not the one.
Well, it's funny because despite my insane cheapness in life in general, I continually forget to mention it. Almost always I forget to mention it. And what frustrates me is it's I always pay by Magic Band when I'm in the park, and it's why can't they just, they have to be able to know. They should just, I should scan my Magic Band and they should know. Now, I did see someone say that they do know now, but
here's the thing.
I can't confirm that until I go.
It's like when you buy something, right, especially computer stuff, and then they say, oh, there's a mail-in rebate, right? They're hoping you don't mail it in. And maybe it's the same thing. They're like, hey, there's a bunch of Damons out there that don't do anything with this. We'll just keep taking their money. That's cool by us.
Well, and that's the thing with this stuff. Unless you bring it up. Now, Trevor's right, because they do. Oftentimes they will ask you. But they don't always. And, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten the dinner bill and I was like, I forgot to ask, and they never asked me. You know, and you should always, because it takes a lot off your bill. It does exclude alcohol, by the way, at the restaurant. So if you are buying alcohol, the discount does not apply to that. So just so you know that, everybody out there, it does not apply to that. So... but great discounts. You should definitely use it as much as you can. And I have heard now that when they scan your band, they do know that you're a DVC
Lights
member.
up a different color at the entrance doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And also, cool, I don't know if you've used the Disney Store app too, when you're in the parks to order stuff, but you can, with that app will link up to your DVC and automatically give you a discount if you buy stuff through the store. But the cool thing about that one is, too, you don't actually, if you see something in the store you want, you can actually just scan the tag with your phone, and you don't even need to talk to anybody. You scan the tag with your phone, you pay with your credit card, and you can have it sent back to your room or mailed back to your house from the app, which is pretty cool. Which we tried one time, but it was right when the app first came out. It didn't work very well. But,
Also, so I did this myself, actually, 2 weeks ago. When you sign up for My Disney Experience, anybody out there who hasn't done this already, call up member services and make sure that your DVC membership is attached to My Disney Experience, because when you buy stuff through there, you will automatically get any discounts that are applicable. So in my case, I was looking for tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, And as soon as I signed in with my My Disney Experience username, I got the DVC discount on the tickets there.
Yeah, and that's a great point to note, because it's not just discounts on merch, it's not just discounts on food, it's also discounts on things like tickets like that. Special event tickets. There is a discount on annual passes.
I usually do that when I do my vacation, and my wife doesn't do any of our vacations through the website or the app or anything. She feels like she has to call. She's a caller.
That's why there's always 30-minute waits on the member line.
That's right. And she always calls, and we get all our stuff through there, like all our tickets for, and we did the Halloween thing as well. We try to do that all at the same time with those people that are on the phone.
Well, and I'll tell you, too, so with the trip, and they're good about it. I mean, obviously on the phone, they know if you're calling that you're a DVC member, and they automatically give you all the discounts. So that is helpful. But, I have a bunch of my upcoming trip here. We've been jokingly calling it the tour trip, because we're doing 3 different tours while we're there. We'll talk about this in our podcast coming up right before I leave. But you get a 15 to 20% discount on all the tours. And I don't know if you guys have ever done any of those tours. They're expensive. All of them.
No, I think because for us, a lot of the tours are your kid's age has to be a little bit older for some of the ones that we want to do.
Some of them, because you go backstage,
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, for us, it was more about, like I said, some of the ages of some of the kids that we need to do. So
yeah, because we've thought about doing the tours as well, and we realized our son, he's now 9, but 2 years ago, it's like there's no way we could keep his attention for an hour while we do this tour. He would want to be like, I want to go ride rides.
Yeah.
Well, we did the oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name of it. But we did like the behind the scenes Magic Kingdom tour one time. And
Keys to the Kingdom.
Thank you, Keys to the Kingdom. And it's like it's like a 5-6 hour tour. It is a long tour. It doesn't feel like that long because it does include lunch and you eat it eat in the middle of it. But that one,
it's a long time for kids, though.
It is, and I actually think they restrict the age of that one, but I don't think it's because of how long it is. I think it's more because you go to backstage areas and you straight up ruin the magic. Like, you get to walk behind Splash Mountain and you realize, oh, the mountain in Splash Mountain is literally just a wireframe. It's completely hollow. And so it totally ruins the whole magic. And they tell you, all sorts of neat things behind the scenes. They take you to the utilidors underground, which was really cool. So a lot of these tours are really, really, really cool, and I'm excited for the ones that we're doing in the upcoming trip here. But we saved a lot of money by having the discount. I think that's a kind of a big thing, and one of the things you always see too, like out on the boards, like, oh, well, how come like general people get this free dining plan thing, and we don't. And, as DVC members. And I always say to people, it's like, well, the DVC, the dining plan, like, basically tells you, they used to actually advertise it this way. I think they stopped advertising it this way, but that it'll save you like 8 to 10% on your food. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if we're getting 10 to 20% discount already at all the Disney restaurants, then we're pretty much coming out ahead of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty much.
But people don't think about it that way. They see free, and it's like, But all these extra discounts are, we're saving a lot of money. And truthfully, at the end of the day, Disney doesn't have to give us any of this. I mean, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to give us any of these benefits if they don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I find about the tours that I find interesting is, well, again, there's definitely a DVC perk. I think the other thing that you come to find is that with, DVC in general, the people that are signed up go a fair amount. Right? So they probably go more often than people that are not DVC members. I could be wrong, but I'm going to make this assumption. And as you continue to go to Disney, what you'll find is, and we're actually at this point ourselves with, let's see, a 13-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old, that we've been going so long that we're actually looking for different things to do. And those different things to do, again, the tours are part of that. So it's kind of this dual benefit. I also think, if we're DVC members, and we're going to be, let's call us 70 years old at that point, right? There's going to be a lot of things I've already seen. Obviously, there's new stuff that comes to Disney all the time, but right, maybe my heart won't be able to handle it. We don't know. So we'll say that, these tours and things like that are going to be things that are beneficial, and getting a discount on them, it'd be great. I've seen a lot of people recently on the buses doing just tours and things like that at the parks, and they were older people, their kids are have their own kids and they don't necessarily see them all the time. So it's definitely a good benefit to have for DVC members just because of the kind of DVC lifestyle you'll end up leading.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And actually, that's kind of why we're doing a lot of tours this trip, is because once we have kids, we're not going to really be able to do those for a while, and B, you're right, because and that's what my wife keeps saying. It's like, well, we've, even though we've seen a lot of, and truthfully, we were just there, less than a year ago we were there, but since then, a lot of stuff has changed. There's a new nighttime show. There's Pandora. There's that Muppet show that's in Liberty Square that I really want to see. There's just a lot of that kind of stuff that has changed, and, we'll be able to go see that. But you're right. That's part of why we're doing the tours. It's like, well, we can spend, a couple hours on a tour because we've seen a lot of this, and, it's not like we have to go on Dinosaur. We don't, have to go. We want to, but it's not like if we miss it, it's not like we've never done it before,
Yeah, and I guess, again, that's kind of the point. Is I think a lot of people are under the misunderstanding that being in DVC by default is, this is how I'm going to get cheap park tickets. But they don't look beyond the park tickets, and they don't look beyond the dining plan. The thing is that, yeah, there's lots more to Disney than just those two things. And if that's really all you're thinking about, that's a very short-term thing, because, like you said, you will end up... You've done the parks and everything. After so many times, you're not quite as interested in, okay, I've been to Magic Kingdom 6 times this year. I want to do something else. The fact that DVC is looking out beyond just the standard park admission, and they're looking for all those extra value things for their members, I think is way smarter than them. And I think the fact that they rotated around is a good thing, because, like I said, in a year or 2 years, you're going to find that they've got a whole different set of things that they're offering, and it keeps you wanting to come back, because I don't know about you guys, but I bought into this and I've got a 50-year contract, so
exactly.
I need to think of things to do for the next 50 years.
Well, that's why this trip for me is going to be a little taste of that. Like I said, we're only going to the park in theory as we sit just one day, right? I think it's going to turn into 2 with Epcot. But even at 2, there are still going to be 2 full days where we're just, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where some of that recreation stuff comes in.
Now, here's an interesting thought, and again, you guys will definitely know the answer to this because you guys know the answers to everything. Can you go on a tour without park ticket?
Depends on the tour.
but there are some you can, correct?
Well, if they're in the park, you have to have park tickets.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
I believe the one that the 8-hour tour that goes to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, I believe that includes park tickets, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
They actually say when you're booking them, if you read the print at the bottom, it says a valid park ticket is required, or something to that effect. Basically, that they tell you if you need a park ticket on top of the tour.
Gotcha.
Yeah, park admission is required. Yeah, that type of thing. So,
yeah.
What about the safari? The safari that is before Animal Kingdom open?
You have to have tickets for that too, I believe, because we've done that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe because they just kind of dump you out into Animal Kingdom after it's over. So.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. So. All right, so I think we talked a lot about perks. We've talked for a good 45 minutes here about perks. Is there anything else we want to add before we move on to some other general Disney topics?
We want to talk about what benefits we want to see.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right,
I know
so
you mentioned...
I've come up with a great idea. I think that every DVC vacation... Listen, give me 1 extra Fast Pass. Just 1.
Every day or for the whole trip?
No, just for the whole trip. I'm not greedy. Just give me 1.
Like a free anytime Fast Pass?
Free anytime Fast Pass. Don't limit me. Just
golden ticket.
The golden ticket. Give me 1. Because really, at the end of the day, how much is that hurting the queue? Yeah. It's not. You're giving me 1. I'm not, like I said, do I want 1 every day? I would love 1 every day. I'd like 5 every day, right? But at the end of the day, if you gave me 1 per trip, and listen, you can even put some stipulation on it. Listen, you're coming for 2 days? No, we're not doing that. Give me after 4 days. 4 days or more, you get 1 free Fast Pass wherever you want, in addition to the other ones you sign up for. I mean, who has a problem with that?
I would like an extra Fast Pass, and even if it can transcend the tier system, that would be even better.
Yep. Oh, it would have to. That again, if you're only getting one, it has to transcend.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for me, like I kind of said this, is I would love to see more extra, like more lounges. I think we get a lot of discounts personally. I know,
I mean, I don't use them, but it sounds like we do.
I would bet you're not alone in that. I would bet a large portion of the DVC membership does not use discounts.
I would agree. I would agree.
Because it's not like it's something they educate you on. I mean, they probably talk about it in your initial meeting, but because they change so often, unless you're keeping up with it,
I was coloring during our meeting. So.
Don't they give out ice cream or something?
Yeah, I was coloring and then I was getting ice cream. So I was just signing a check. That was about it.
You were coloring on the check with a pen.
Yeah, there you go. No, they give you coloring books. So I mean, I was all about that.
Those might have been for the kids, Damon.
Well, they gave me one too, though. So I didn't have to steal from my kids. They gave me an extra one. I was okay.
To be fair, my wife does do adult coloring books, so
okay.
I shouldn't make fun. But I think more lounges would be great. I think more of the events would be good. I know they used to do a weekly member mixer that they used to do, and they kind of got rid of that. And I would love to see something like that where it's just some drinks and some appetizers, and you just go and hang out somewhere. They used to do it over by the boardwalk, but that doesn't happen anymore. But that's what I would want to see.
Actually, you're right. I would like to see something where you can kind of go and visit a particular resort. So they have a mixer thing at the different resorts, so that it kind of gives you a reason to go and explore outside of booking your rooms there.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. I mean, I don't like it better than my extra fast pass, but
I'm totally with you on the fast pass.
We're all on. Okay, so what we really want here is we want Disney to build a DVC only roller coaster that only DVC members are allowed to go on.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine the pitchforks and the fire and the oh my goodness,
the protests?
No, I couldn't even.
Or what about a DVC hotel?
Just DVC.
Well,
Just
we
DVC.
already kind of have that with.
Is that Saratoga?
Key West.
Oh, and Saratoga too, right?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing, right? Only people that have bought no renting point. No renting.
I see. I don't know if they can stop that by law.
Yeah, how do you differentiate though? Because you really can't.
Either you have a card or you don't.
Yeah.
Well, but people who buy.
I didn't say buy resale. I just said renters.
But
renting
resale
point.
don't have the card either, though.
Yeah, resale
because they don't get all the benefits that.
Resale can't go to the lounges either.
No,
they do not.
Well, so caveat.
Or sorry, they get top of the world.
Yeah,
they don't get a lot
Epcot
of the
lounge?
discounts and stuff.
Did they get the Epcot lounge?
I don't think so, because I think you need the member card for that. And
Okay.
and the caveat is they did grandfather in anybody that bought resale before a certain date.
Yeah.
But when they took that
Just
away,
like April last year, I think.
Okay.
yeah. And so, but the thing is, if you buy Disney Direct first, or even second, as long as you have 50 points of Disney Direct, you get the membership card. So, what a lot of people will do is they'll buy 50 points right from Disney, and then we'll buy the rest resale. This is a whole nother podcast, though. So
All right, we're going on to security.
We're
Let's go.
gonna get Nick back on here from DVC Resale Market, and we're going to talk about that whole thing, because I think to have him on and to talk about that would be really good, because that is a common thing that comes up, and I think. I've heard some of the resale people say that it really doesn't hurt their business that much, actually, and you would think it would. You think it would be disastrous, right? But it's something that comes up a lot, so I think it would be probably.
I'd like to know the percentage of people that are resale that also have bought direct from Disney.
Have both.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Anyway, we're definitely off topic.
Yeah, we're definitely off topic. So let's. So we're going to move on to personal security at the parks. There was a couple stories. You guys might have seen them in the news, or if you follow any Disney pages, because they were put up there a lot. And one of the stories was that a woman was arrested after stealing a high-end stroller. And for me, I don't have kids, and I always see those strollers sitting out there, and I've said before, I was like, how does no one steal those things? Because they always have a Disney cast member standing there, but they're paying attention to a lot of things, and how do they know?
I would agree with you, and there's been many times that I've worried about our stroller. Again, we had some pretty nice strollers in our time, actually. A lot of them for review because of the website, right? But that being said, we still had some pretty nice strollers, and there's been times where I've been like, am I leave this out here, and am I going to leave, this, that, and the other thing with them? But here's the thing. I think they do a good job currently, right? So there's going to be one here and there. I think they do a fairly good job. But why can't I get my stroller its own magic band? A stroller band. That's what I'm saying.
So, like, almost have like a coat check for your stroller? Like, where they had to scan you in and out?
Proximity alarm.
Nope, not even any of that. Just that if there's a question about whose stroller that is, it syncs to my magic band somehow. So it's like it's attached to my account. So that way, if there is a problem, listen, I don't need proximity. I don't need this. I just need some sort of deterrent. And if that deterrent is some sort of, magic band link up, I don't care if it's an RFID sticker. It doesn't really matter what it is. But hey, include that in the packet. If you have a stroller, like you would something, with parking. If you have a stroller, you have a unique number. That unique number is attached to your magic bands. That way, if there's ever a question, there's not a question. I think that might be enough just to deter anything like that. And again, it's far, a few in between that we have issues like that. But I've often thought about it.
Yeah, I guess the hard thing with that is that you need everybody to be doing it to really enforce it. But I guess anybody who's not doing it, if their stroller gets lost, it's ultimately
on them,
their responsibility.
Yep.
I guess my thinking on is, they definitely do a good enough job with it, but more so than putting the onus on Disney to try and prevent it, is there are some things you can do yourself.
There's some interesting stroller locks and things like that too. Yeah.
Well, even outside of stroller locks and that kind of stuff, because really at the end of the day, it wasn't so much the stroller going missing that was the problem. The larger issue was that in this particular case, they had like wallets and keys, and there was an EpiPen in there, which you should kind of have that on you if it's an emergency thing. You should really keep that. And I think that's kind of the bigger thing is that, honestly, at Disney, there's so many strollers and there's so many people there that it's really hard to keep track of it. And it's really hard to miss little details like, somebody grabbing a stroller. But I guess for me personally, my thinking is more, like that out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So if there's nothing in the stroller that is desirable, they're not just going to grab the stroller and run with it because, unless that stroller is clearly, like a $3,000 stroller, in which case...
But then it's easy also because there's probably not a lot of them.
Yeah, that in itself makes it a target. And I guess maybe that's the larger thing too, is that, if you're going on tour to Disney, obviously everyone there is a tourist, but... and sorry, this is, I should probably prefix this, is that I work in IT security. Part of that comes with personal and physical security. So I am always thinking about, not how to get to someone else, but how people are profiling me.
Yeah.
So I guess part of the way to think about this stuff is how does your stuff look to someone else? If there's like a large row of strollers there and yours is blinged out with gold and spinners and diamonds and all that, like I think you're the target, right?
I think the biggest thing that happened to me...
spinners on my strollers.
Yeah, on my stroller. I left my camera in the stroller. And what actually... or so I thought I left it in my stroller and it was gone. Actually, what ended up happening was I had left my camera on the bench at the last ride and I went back and it was still there. Yay, Disney.
Oh, wow.
So again... I agree with you. Sometimes it's what's in there. But here's the problem. You're at Disney. I want a camera, but do I want to carry a camera on rides? And there's certain rides you can't carry a camera on and things like that. And I think that's where it's like this whole, cycle per se is that, you have to be, vigilant no matter where you are, even at Disney, even at the, happiest place, on earth. But the stroller itself, yeah, I get what you're saying. That's a tough one. I'm more concerned about the second story more than anything.
Yeah, this one definitely is a little more disturbing. So again, this one's kind of made its rounds in the last couple of days. Is that one of the housekeeping staff at Disney was arrested for stealing? So my understanding
Old Key West specifically.
Yeah, she was working at Old Key West, and they kind of figured out that every room that she had, or not every room, but rooms that she had been servicing, they'd been getting reports of stuff going missing. So they set up a sting operation, and I guess they caught her stealing. I don't know the full details of it, but the understanding was that she took some money out of I don't know if it was in a drawer or on top or wherever, but basically she took money that didn't belong to her and thereby got arrested and all of that. So,
Well, yeah. And I have the news article up here right here. It says they put $20 on a nightstand and caught her taking the money after cleaning the room. So it was just $20 sitting on a counter, basically.
right.
See,
Which-
that's a tough one because, that's also when you leave money for the cleaning staff. I mean, I don't know. I do every time I leave, right?
Yeah.
I usually leave it on, on the desk before I leave. Yeah.
Well,
I tend to mark it though, I guess.
Oh, see, I don't. I'm
put
lazy.
a little note there or something
Nope,
like
not
that.
me.
I usually at least write like housekeeping on it.
I throw it around the room, put it in different places for them to find it. It's
He
like
does
a
it in
game.
singles and he hides it in different places. It's like a treasure. It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
But
I actually do though, just put it on the counter, but it's at the last day, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and for this too, I guess in my mind, when I look at that, it's like, okay, maybe she did think it was like a tip, but at the same time, it's like, okay, they figured out a pattern of behavior, right? And so this was just the test, basically, right?
Maybe she thought she was so good she was getting tips all the time. I don't.
And they don't really go into a lot of details about what she was actually stealing, like
Yeah, because if you said cameras and stuff, all right, you got my interest a little bit. But if it's
Yeah.
just money like that, someone's leaving out. Yeah.
There was a story, and so when I was there for Christmas 2 years ago, we were staying at Kidani at Animal Kingdom Lodge, right? And as we were going to the park one day, we saw a woman at the front desk, hysterically crying and very upset, and she was talking about how their room had gotten broken into. I think it was at Old Key West or Saratoga. And someone stole everything that they had, like laptops, their passports, like
Oh, wow.
like their wallets, everything gone. And maybe 2 weeks after that, there was a news article that two people were just somehow, I don't think they worked for Disney, but they were just gotten onto the ground somehow, and they would go.
Well, I think a lot of those people that deliver food.
Yeah. Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
go ahead.
And literally they were just going up to the outside sliding doors and seeing if they were unlocked. And that's what happened to these people is their sliding door to their porch was unlocked, and so they were just able to walk in. So, I guess the big thing is lock your doors, right?
Which
You know?
and that's a problem too. Like you've got little kids, right? And
Yep.
they're excited and they pop the screen door open. They go outside and they look and then they come back in. They just close it. They don't think about, lock the door, I guess. But
Yeah.
again, me being paranoid IT guy, I mean, anytime I leave my house or like anywhere that I'm staying, I'm always like I double and triple check the locks because
Yeah.
stuff like that can happen.
Do you guys ever use the room safes for your stuff?
Nope.
Yep.
Too
Well,
lazy.
okay.
I like that you're
So-
freewheeling, Damon. They're just like, nah, whatever, take my stuff.
Well, what am I really putting in there, right? The things I care about the most aren't going to fit in there. So what do passports? I mean, my DSLR is not fitting in there. My laptop's not fitting in there.
So I guess my story is a little different is that, I'm coming from Canada. So yeah, my passports go in there. I usually travel with a tablet instead of a laptop. So my tablet actually fits into those
Okay.
safes. And then also we are a gamer family. So we've always got like DSs and stuff like that. So those all tend to go in there because I just
It's funny. I leave all that stuff out. Like I bring like 4 iPads around the room. Don't care. Whatever. I'm in Disney.
I wouldn't be as worried about, like, I could see if you were ground floor, like, and you had, and your patio was able, someone was able to walk onto your patio. But I feel like I've never stayed ground floor at any of the places I've stayed at. And,
I don't like staying ground floor.
Yeah, I don't either. And I mean, I guess for me, I don't.
Saratoga has a lot of ground floor, though.
They do.
Yeah, it's wide, not tall.
Yep.
Exactly. And for me, I don't necessarily. I bring almost nothing to the park with me. I always leave my wallet and my keys in my room, and so
In the safe or no?
No, usually not. I have before. The only time I've ever used the room safe is before I proposed to my wife because I had to hide the ring somewhere. So I put it in the room safe and then put my clothes in there and hid it so she didn't even know there was a room safe. So that was had to do that for the ring, but. But that's the only time I've ever used it. I'm not a big room safe user, but I probably, after reading some of this stuff, I probably feel like I should now.
So, and there is 2 things to think about with the room safe as well. As one, some of the older room safes, it's a key safe. those can be easier to compromise because there's a higher likeliness of housekeeping having that particular key, or like making copies of it or whatever if somebody was really wanting to get in there. The newer ones, and actually I had this one out last time I went to the Grand Californian, was it's actually a number pad safe, and you set the password when you get there.
Yep.
And the nice thing about those is that you have your own password, you lock it and everything, and it's your passcode. There is an override that can be used. And it might actually be good to check this yourself, because you can usually, like if you just hit 0000, if it unlocks it, then they never change the override code, in which case you call down to front desk and say somebody needs to fix that. But yeah, so ideally they should have an override on those things, and that override should be someone who is, works for Disney, like in a trusted position, because obviously you're talking about people's possessions that they're responsible for.
So we're already at an hour and we haven't even mentioned Pandora.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Wow. We talked a lot about DVC perks, and which is great. But
considering that's what we're trying to do, get across.
Yes, that's right. So let's move on. Anybody want to mention anything else before we move on to Pandora here, really quickly?
Nope.
We're not going to talk too much about Pandora because
we've talked a lot about Pandora.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about it, but the cool thing is, so a lot of details have been coming out now. They just did the dedication this past week, obviously because it's opening. I watched the live stream of it, but I am a nerd with too much time on my hands, so I watched a little bit of that. But from what I've seen out there, it seems like all the reviews have been really, really positive of Flight of Passage. Some people saying best ride that Disney's ever built. That being said, I'm concerned about this, is from what I've seen is that some larger guests are having a hard time fitting onto the ride. And so tall or heavy set, right? And which is a concern to me, because there's nothing like more embarrassing than trying to get on a ride and then it being like, no, you're too large to fit on this ride. That's like a terribly embarrassing thing. Plus, I really want to ride the ride. That's the other part of this. But from what I've seen, it seems like I've seen a couple reviews that say like you'd have to be like well over 300 pounds and over 6'5" for that to work. But I don't know. I'm concerned about that, and I wonder if Disney's going to fix that, or if it's just a design impossibility.
That's what happened at Universal too, and people complained so much about the Harry Potter ride they ended up having to change it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a sidebar here.
Yes, but it's relevant though.
Yeah, well, because I wondered too, because I know that this particular ride, the seat is the same kind of design that they used on the Tron bikes in Shanghai. Mm-hmm. But I haven't heard much about Shanghai or any of the problems they've had with that.
Because they're much skinnier in Shanghai than we are in America.
Yeah, maybe. So I mean, for me, I don't see it being a problem for myself personally, because I'm average height and all that, but. Yeah, I guess my understanding is that they've actually put out a test or a test seat for people to try before they even go into the queue now.
Well, they have that at Universal as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because I'd hate to get up there and but at the same time, it's like I don't weigh over 300 pounds. I'm not that big of a guy, but it's I have a hard time fitting onto Seven Dwarfs, and not for any other reason that like my legs don't fit in it. I don't know if anybody's had this problem, but like where the bars come down, like you have to fit your legs between the bars, and I'm like squished like really hard. Or like when we go on Big Thunder, my poor wife, it's one bar all the way across. I basically have to suck it in, or else there's like a 6-inch gap between the bar and my wife, and I have to hold on to her. Well, it's like,
no, that's a better ride for her then. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's totally true. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I don't know if they just didn't think about. I mean, or if there's just a design issue, like they couldn't make it work, but. I think the biggest concern is they've been talking about a lot of major issues during the previews. Now, this is why they have previews, right? Is to work out any issues that they have. And so this ride has 4 theaters that run simultaneously, and they have yet to get it to run with all 4 theaters running simultaneously. From the last I heard,
I don't think they would during a preview event, though.
Well, I think they were trying to, though, and it wasn't working. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't be able to simultaneously make it work, but
Right.
So you're talking about 4-hour queue time, really?
So the report is that they built the queue line to hold 4-hour lines. And so apparently, even though there's 4 theaters running simultaneously, it's not like Soarin' can hold a lot of people because it's it's got all of those different rows and everything. But because each one of these is individual, they're saying the guests per hour for this ride is like 1,900, which is pretty low, especially for a ride like this that's going to be super popular. That means if it's not running at full capacity, you're talking crazy lines, right?
Yeah, I'm going in first thing, and if not, I may not be going.
I'm saying fast pass. I think this is like, if you don't have a fast pass, then forget it.
Yeah. So what do they do for people that the ride's broken during fast pass?
They give you like a fast pass to come back at any time.
Okay.
So it's like they'll send you. So like, for example, if like Test Track, if there's thunderstorms and they close Test Track, they'll send you a thing that says, you can use this free fast pass for these rides, or you can come back at any time to go on Test Track again. So
you mean like the fast pass we should have for DVC?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Although it is a little more restrictive because they'll say you can go on this ride, and this ride, and not this ride and this ride. So I don't know what that's based on. I'm sure there's all sorts of fun algorithms that go into that. But the thing is, like this happened with Frozen. They didn't do a preview for Frozen, and it broke down a ton. The first.
What do you mean they didn't do a preview?
So
it didn't have like a few weeks of like preview events going on the same way.
So
as Avatar has.
They did not have preview events, but it was running.
Well, no. So usually they'll do like soft openings where they'll like.
Yes, they did do soft open.
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't for Frozen. They didn't at all for Frozen. That's why they had so many problems.
No. I was there. I was there for when. So from what I understand, that there were a few soft openings for Frozen. I mean, unless I'm mistaken. But
there might have been a couple, but definitely not as much as they normally do.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Okay.
And that was right around the time that the alligator attack thing happened. And
I was there for that, by the way.
Oh, you were?
Actually, I was there, and I was at Polynesian, literally overlooking
my gosh.
Yeah, there was helicopters and everything that we saw right outside of our window.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a whole other story.
So that was happening right around that time, and I think they
had a few soft openings during that time, but we were not able to get onto it during those times because they were so far and few in between. They only had the other place where you take the pictures was open a lot.
Gotcha.
But anyway, go aad.
Well, and that ride even has worse. That ride's worse capacity issues than 1900. That ride does nowhere near 1900. But I'm just thinking to myself, that the queue. I don't know if you guys have looked at any pictures of Flight of Passage queue. It looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. But I don't want to stand for 4 hours and watch something that looks awesome. That. It's not.
Yeah.
My max is probably that 90-minute time frame. That's probably my max. I look at that as my personal max.
And honestly, I think for myself even though we're going to be there fairly close to opening, if we find that, it goes up like really even 90 minutes is kind of stretching it for me, I'll just wait. Like I can come back another time and do it then.
You mean another vacation, or you're saying another day?
Yeah, I'll forgo it for my entire vacation if I have to.
Wow,
I got to do it this time.
Bold.
I got to do it.
That is very bold.
I mean, some of these reviews you're seeing coming out, and from some of the blogs too, and some of these Disney blogs hate everything, and these like some of the things I've read, they're just like best Disney ride ever. I was in awe.
But here's the thing, though. So, Flight of the Passage, okay, is it better than like Oculus?
It kind of seems like that's what people are saying. I mean,
but are those people don't have Oculus? I mean,
right,
like that's what I'm wondering because I look at that ride and
you're moving. I mean, you're moving and there's wind and there's smells and there's misting and so it's not just yeah.
So if I take my Vive and I get somebody to spray me in the face while I'm using it,
well, and
your wife just stands there with a squirt bottle, like spray me now.
Well, and see that's the funny part because I think for me, I'm more excited to see the other one. Because again, like to me, Flight of the Passage is just like, dude, I have PlayStation VR. Like I understand it's probably a little bit more ramped up than that. I get it, but that at the end of the day is for me. That's what it feels like. I mean, I could play. There's a Flight of the Eagle game, right, from PlayStation VR. I can fly around in that game on an eagle. Well, okay, like I'm an eagle or I'm a banshee.
I mean, I don't know. I think definitely they're not just like using out of the box Oculus or anything like that.
No.
Like I get the feeling that this thing is fantastic, but like you said, I actually think that I'm more interested to do the Navi River journey because I've heard a lot of good things about that, and I think the thing people are overlooking is that Navi River journey is using a lot of the same tech that went into Pirates in Shanghai. So it's like that amalgamation.
And it's using some of the frozen stuff as well, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of real life props and the digital stuff. So I think that's more interesting to me because that's a lot harder to pull off than just a VR experience.
So I think I totally agree with you, and you know what and I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too. On some of the people that have been reviewing it are not a fan. They thought it was boring, you know. And
which one? The river?
The river, yeah,
okay.
because there's no drop in it. It's more of like. So the whole idea about it is you're supposed to be, you know, immersed in this environment. You're supposed to be going through this forest and taking it all in. And I think there's like a correlation almost to, and I think, Trevor, I think you might have seen me arguing with somebody about this, but on Facebook. But I think there are certain people that don't like Animal Kingdom because they feel like there's not as much to do as the other parks. And my argument is always, I love Animal Kingdom for the reason that it's by far the best theming they've ever done. And you can just walk around that park, and there's so many details. And there's just you're just walking down a path, and there's just animals there, and like it's just and they're
people
seamlessly.
People are just mad because it's small.
I mean, 12. It was 12 acres, 14 acres. I think yeah. That's part of the problem that they're saying too is it's too small. But I think there's some sort of correlation between if you like the Animal Kingdom and if you're the type of person that takes it all in as you walk around, or if you're just I want drops, you know.
And see, it's what's interesting because I have to equate it over to Diagon Alley, right, over in Universal. It's the same thing. Everyone said it was so small. It was this. It was that. I mean, it's great. Like, how big does it need to be? It really. So, and this brings up another point. They are not limiting the Pandora area at all, correct? It's park capacity across the park still. So again, I know Universal does something where they limit the capacity. I don't know if they do it anymore. I don't remember when I was there this was the case, but in the beginning they would limit capacity at that small area within the park. Are they doing anything like that for Pandora?
Well, I don't think we've heard anything about when it's actually open because so far it doesn't open until this weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder.
I guess we'll have to keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks if they do limit capacity going in and out of that particular area.
Interesting. Yeah, and I, that's definitely possible.
Now,
sure.
when we go also, there's going to be an extra magic hour night. So I think that's why we'll try to, again, I know when Tom's going, he gets all the special every night, right?
It is every night, yes. It is. It's going to be every night.
You.
So, well, and actually, they just changed that up, too, where they're going to actually offer some more rides. Initially, it was only going to be Pandora. Now it's going to be a couple other rides. Like, I think Everest is going to be open till 1 a.m.
And Everest at night is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to do that.
It's well worth it.
They're also going to do, just to keep this moving here, we're running out of time. So they announced they're going to do a nighttime lighting ceremony, which I think could be really cool. Which really, I've heard there are going to be some projection effects on the floating rocks, which should be pretty neat. But I've also seen a lot of rave reviews for the food. It seems like everybody's saying that the food is like some of the best quick service at Disney. Have you guys seen that too?
I've seen pictures of there was a slushy thing with it looked like a bubble tea.
Oh yeah,
slushy.
They're all about the little balls that
the Bobby
so
balls
funky.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
they look so alien, so they just throw them in everything,
I don't know. I've had those. I had those in Disneyland at. They had a Star Wars drink that had them, and they're actually really good. Like,
yeah, no, they
I
are.
wanted more.
So that's interesting. So we're gonna have to roll right into Trevor's Paint the Night parade because again, we don't want to miss this, right?
Yeah, we got to talk about these rumors because there's some really, really, really interesting rumors going on right now, and so Trevor's gonna talk a little bit about Paint the Night. I've never seen Paint the Night because I've never been to Disneyland. But
Wait, we also have Trevor's video now though, so we're all good.
That's true.
Everyone, go watch Trevor's video.
Yeah, we'll share that. We'll share that later.
Yeah, we'll link it out.
Yeah, but basically, Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, so this is if this is actually happening, this is real exciting for people in Disney World because. So as much as everybody loves the electrical parade, Paint the Night is the electrical parade on steroids. And the main reason for that is that they just use the LED technology. They use the sound and everything is synced so nicely together that it start to finish. When I watched that parade, I wasn't bored at any one particular point. Cause you know how, or I don't know about you guys, but when I watch some of the parades, there's the certain floats that you see and you're like, oh yeah, there's Woody or my favorite character, whatever. Yeah. And then other ones come by and you're kind of like, okay, hurry up, move,
get to the next one.
Yeah. Paint the Night. I did not feel that at all. Even every single float that came by, I was looking there was little details, the way the lights changed. And
would it make me want to watch a parade? That's the big question.
Would it make him stay up late?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, stay up late. Wait, it's a parade, and I have to stay up late.
That's right. It's got to be dark.
Actually, I guess here's the bigger question. The one thing that I've heard people get on Paint the Night for is the soundtrack it's a redo of the song from Wreck-It Ralph, When Can I See You Again by Owl City.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing is done it's a very upbeat like dance party kind of thing, and some people said that they didn't like that, but personally I thought it was, again, it just flows nicely through the whole parade.
So if people are not familiar with this rumor, by the way, and we should explain this.
Yeah.
So there's a rumor out there that Paint the Night is been packed up and is ready to ship somewhere, but nobody knows where. So there's a rumor that somebody has noted that all of the parade is packed up and ready to move. There's some theories out there now. Since just a couple days ago, it was announced. Well, it wasn't announced. Someone noticed that the Festival of Fantasy Parade, that's normally at 3 o'clock, is now moving up an hour starting in August. Now, why is that significant? Because Disney's had a 3 o'clock parade forever. So the thought is Disney's moving that parade up an hour to, kind of space out the entertainment more, because they're going to add Paint the Night, and then they're going to maybe even push Happily Ever After maybe an hour later, maybe until 10 o'clock.
Ooh, I'm asleep already.
Wishes was at 10 o'clock a lot. But so I think it's really interesting that this rumor came out, and then all of a sudden, someone noticed on the calendar that Festival of Fantasy is getting pushed up an hour. It kind of just points to that. It seems like it's in the cards. Now, I did hear another thing that said Disney was ready to move Paint the Night to Disney World. It was a done deal. And then when they were looking at it, they figured out that one of the floats wouldn't be able to make that turn that they have to make around the hub. So maybe it's an engineering challenge. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to get that done, or maybe they're modifying. I don't know, but to me, in my mind, I'm thinking it's happening.
Yeah, and that I guess that is the one part that the pathing is different in Disneyland than Disney World. So I can see where they would have trouble with that, but maybe you're right. Maybe they're just looking to do either a supplement float or a modification or something. Because some of these floats are really long. They're like Mack truck type long. So
well, one of them is Mac from Cars, right?
It's Mac. Yeah, that one's really cool. I love it.
So I mean, listen, it's Disney; they can figure it out, right? I mean, they'll if they want to get it done, they'll get it done, right? So, I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking this is going to happen because people have been really bemoaning the lack of a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom, and I don't know. It just seems like it's logical, right? Disneyland, Disney World, just switch parades.
Favorite parade of all time at Disney?
All time. Oof.
I'd say the Halloween one is mine.
Festival of Fantasy is pretty great.
Okay.
So I haven't seen the Halloween one yet, so I'm still saying Paint the Night.
Okay.
And I mean, listen, I'm also a sucker for the Main Street Electrical Parade too. I mean, that's one that I remember from.
I don't even know if I've ever sat through a full parade besides the Halloween.
Oh my gosh, that one is so great. It's just like you just hear the music and you just. It just brings you to an old place. So.
And they do work that into Paint the Night. So the music is there, but they remix it, and they blend in a whole bunch of different tracks together. So it's nice.
That's cool. Well,
oh my goodness,
I'm excited
already.
I hope it happens.
You guys are making me yawn because it's the lack of interesting topic.
Well, how
and
about
it's getting late.
How about Universe of Energy? How about
I love that ride. Nothing should ever replace that ever.
Yeah, well, it's going away.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Universe of Energy.
Okay, look,
I love it,
Damon. You have to at least admit that, like, when you're sitting there and watching Ellen on like a '90s era phone, it's
love
like,
it.
Maybe it's time to.
Hey, listen, bring back Ellen, replace her script, redo it, and leave it as it is. I'm all for that. I love that.
I love it too, and I really do. But unfortunately, Damon, I think you and I don't know, Trevor, your feelings on it.
I could go either way.
Well, and so, I mean, I don't know about you, but every time I've ever gone on that thing, it's never full. Like, there's never people on it. There's some people, but I mean, I love it too. I'm with you, man. I'm a big fan, but. So,
I might have to start a petition.
That's
how much I love it.
So people know what's going on here. What is the rumor that we're talking?
That's what I was just going to explain. So the rumor that's out there, and this started last year. So Disney was sending up some test balloons.
This is just a rumor.
No,
everybody.
it's pretty. When permits started getting issued, then
you don't know. We don't know.
It's bad news. But anyway, so last year they had started sending up sightline balloons, and so Disney usually does this when they're trying to figure out how tall to build something or where to build it, so that they do this like with the Soarin' buildings or some of the buildings they don't want people to see, basically, right? And so people thought that was okay. Now something's happening in Universe of Energy. Now the original rumor was that it was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy ride. I don't know if that's still the case or not, because that rumor kind of died and it just kind of disappeared for a while. Now the head of Disney Parks came out and said, we're going to overhaul all of Epcot, but didn't really say what it was going to be. He just kind of said it was going to be, quote, uniquely Disney, and and in the true spirit of Epcot. In my mind, the true spirit of Epcot's probably not Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
So maybe they're going to avoid that. I don't know. Maybe they will. But so what happened was some permits were filed for some drainage work directly behind Universe of Energy, and basically what it says in the permit, it doesn't say anything about what's going to be there, but it's basically saying they need to change this drainage that's back there because they're going to put a building there. I mean, that's what you got from it too, Trevor, right?
Yeah, they said the exact wording was it was something along the lines of large permanent structure. So this isn't a temporary thing that they're doing to reroute. They're saying they very much have intent of putting something net new back there.
Exactly. And I mean, the show building already for Universe of Energy is pretty large.
But wait, so something new back there, that means that the other building has to go, or just that they're putting something else back there?
I mean,
I won't let this go. I'm not going to let it go.
So David's going to be standing outside Universe of Energy with a protest sign.
Yeah, chained up.
So let me put this one out to you then. If they're putting a building behind Universe of Energy and they're planning to use this building as an attraction or something,
yep.
How are you supposed to get to said building if Universe of Energy is in the
gondola?
Disney Uber service.
Yeah, exactly. Gondola and Uber service.
Of course. You're absolutely right.
Well, the question becomes too, though: do they tear down the pavilion that's next to it, whose name is escaping me at the moment? Why is it escaping me?
Innovations?
No, the one that's been sitting dormant forever that used to have Body Wars in it. Why can't I remember the name of the pavilion? Oh, well, there's a pavilion that's been sitting next to it that's legendary because Disney basically abandoned it. What's that?
Yeah, it's a dead building.
Yeah, it's a dead building that they occasionally use for like events and things like that. And supposedly the rides are even still sitting there. You might remember the thing was Wonders of Life and Body Wars, and it was a really cool. And I don't know why I can't think of the pavilion, but it's right next door there, and it's right next door to this plot of land. The question becomes: do they tear down both of those? Is it a tear down job, or is it an upfit? Maybe they leave the outside of Universe of Energy and just completely tear out the inside and build a new show building. I don't know.
So what I find interesting, though, about Universe of Energy is that Ellen is still relevant.
Sure.
And that's why...
And so is Bill Nye?
Yeah, he's coming back. Yeah.
He is coming back. Wait, he's got a new show? What is it?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. But anyway, that being said, I don't know. Again, you guys are probably right my gut just tells me I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see it going anywhere.
It's going to be one of those things that Disney fans are going to be. It's like the Maelstrom, right? When no one was going on the Maelstrom, it always had a 15-minute wait. But then as soon as they take it away to put Frozen in, it's like
I was cool with that leaving. Like that ride
wasn't
was dumb.
the best. Yeah,
that ride was showing
just,
its age, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, but,
it definitely was.
But so is Universe of Energy, though. I mean, so listen, I'm with you, David.
No.
I love that ride.
Universe of Energy is a classic.
It is.
Maelstrom wasn't a classic. That was just something that you kind of forgot about, and you're like, oh yeah, crap, there's a ride over here. I forgot about that. While I'm getting, you
did it on your way back to
Bratwurst.
Mexico.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Mexico ride.
Yeah, the Mexico ride. You want to talk about a ride that could go away?
The Three Caballeros? Come on, man.
Gone. Take that out.
No,
that could go away.
It's Mexico Small World. You can't do that.
I hate that ride. I hate that ride, and my kids force me to go on that ride. I'm always like, this is the stupidest ride ever.
You know,
I don't even want to be in the building.
My favorite part about that ride is there's never a wait.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be in the building because I just don't care for it. But because we eat across the way, right? Eat tacos at the place across the way.
Yep.
I get suckered right into it. I get oh, come on, let's go on that ride. No, I hate that ride. It's stupid. The kids are like, well, we're going anyway. And then my wife will be like, well, I'm taking the kids. You do whatever you want. You already ate your tacos, so I don't know what you're going to do. Like, yeah, I guess I'm going on the dumb ride again. That's what I'm doing.
Well,
I can just see you with your head down going, fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
Exactly.
Guess
Fine,
we'll go
I'll run
on
this
it. You're
stupid
stamping
ride.
your feet. Yeah. Damon, stop throwing a temper tantrum and get on the ride.
Exactly.
All right. Well, okay. So I understand you hate that one. So to go to one that I hate myself,
Dude, if you tell me it's Stitch, I might find a way to get you off this podcast.
Okay. No. All right. I wrote it before it was Stitch's Great Escape.
Yeah, it was Alien, and it was awesome.
And it was amazing. And then when I went on Stitch's Great Escape, I was so disappointed. And the chili cheese dog thing just really sealed the deal for me because that smell was awful.
But that's
and it
the
stuck with me
point.
for like 20 minutes after the ride.
Listen, I would fully agree that Alien could be one of the. I'm going to go and say this. Could have been one of the greatest rides ever. Ever. It was so good.
Just too intense, unfortunately. It was great, but
don't
it was too
be
intense.
soft.
Well,
that's what I say.
but
Don't be soft.
Here's the way I look at it.
Tell
though.
all the kids that were crying.
Yeah. Well, so here's
You
the way I
learned
look
a
at
life lesson.
I mean, because you even have today. So, like, if you go to the Tough to Be a Bug show, that can be a really scary show for kids. My wife doesn't even like it because there's spiders that come from the ceiling and there's all sorts of effects that happen. And they warn you like 10 times before you get on that show that it could be scary.
My daughter hates it.
Yeah.
Like, we try to take her at 6, and she's like, I hate this. It's so scary.
And every time you hear kids crying, like lots of them after the show. And so,
of course.
And that's became the problem with that ride, right? They would warn all these people like, this is a really scary ride.
And that wasn't like listen, that ride wasn't like really scary. That could have been one of the scariest rides ever. Like, when you really think about it, that ride was scary.
Yeah.
Like, really scary.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, because it was all in your head, right? It was.
Oh, yes,
It's
exactly.
them playing mind games with you. That's all it was.
Yes.
It was never, actually scary. It was just you're in the dark and you don't know what's going on and you're feeling things.
Have you ever been in somewhere that's as dark as that Alien ride was ever in your life? It was like they like sprayed
They locked
dark
you in
in.
a closet.
Yeah, it was even worse than that. It was like they sprayed darkness in. Like, I can't even explain it.
But Space Mountain, gets pretty dark.
Oh, nothing like that though.
Yeah, you can still see the track and everything though.
When you
But,
take
yeah,
the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, when you go through there, it's pretty dark because there's
There's nobody breathing on your
leading
neck,
up
right?
to it, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I don't know, maybe.
You never know. I seriously, I thought to myself, there could be someone standing right next to me right now, and I have no idea. It's so dark in there sometimes. But we're off the point completely.
Yeah. So the
Totally
whole
off the
point of
point.
this is Stitch's Great Escape is reopening this summer after it had been closed for a long time, and then they're closing it again in August.
And I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be real selfish here. When is it closing in August? At the end of August?
I think the beginning.
Do we know?
I think it's the beginning.
I don't know.
I think so, and I'm really mad about that.
I think it's August. I want to say August 5th, but I could be pulling that data.
See,
out of nowhere,
and I'm going. I think again, like in the second week of August. and I'm really, really mad about this. Like, really mad.
I had no idea you love Stitch this much. You might be the only one that loves Stitch this much.
Okay,
I think I love nostalgia alien. I think that's what it is.
Because everyone always lists this as like the worst ride Disney's ever built, besides the last Journey to Imagination before the current iteration. So,
no. There was the Monsters Inc. ride in DCA.
Oh.
If you look up the original version of that was garbage.
Superstar Limo.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So this is probably second or third worst.
Oh, well, gosh.
He loves his Stitch.
I love this ride. I love
Stitch
it.
too. But I love
this
ride just really, they gutted it. That's my thing with it, is that they gutted what was really good about it. But I gotta wonder, like so the whole rumor around this is they're opening and closing it a bunch. Are they planning for something else?
See, you know what I could see there? I could see a Guardians of the Galaxy in there.
Well,
right, it fits the area.
Yeah.
It fits kind of what they might do for something like that. Like, what is this Guardians of the Galaxy? The one that's over in your neck of the woods, your favorite park.
Yeah.
What have you been on that?
Well, no, because
that's right. It's new, right?
It's
just opening up.
Yeah, this weekend. At the same time as Pandora.
Oh, is it? All right. So the question is it like what have you guys heard? Is it really like Guardians of the Galaxy? Does it fit in that ride? In that ride?
So I actually sent a message to you guys earlier. I was looking at pictures of it. Yeah. I was pretty skeptical about it, but it looks pretty cool. And there's a really cool animatronic of Rocket Raccoon there. That gives you like all of the instructions before you go in. Like it's a really neat animatronic that I watched a video of. And also too, I not to go back to Stitch for a second, but as much as that ride stinks, the Stitch animatronic's probably top 10, right? Best animatronics. That animatronic's amazing. No.
Well, you know what? The only thing is, I've seen the Goblins now at Universal, and there is honestly nothing like it. Not anything even close.
Really?
Sorry. And not even close.
We'll
kid
have to
you
wait
not.
And see what you say after Pandora, because I've been hearing that's the new.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, we'll see, because that will be a good comparison. I want my own show after I come back.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
This is shaping up to be the longest podcast we've ever done, and maybe we should wrap
But I'm
it.
having so much fun, though.
I know. That's the problem with these things. We could talk for hours and hours and hours.
We definitely could.
Yeah.
We definitely could. All right, so I have to wrap up now? Are we done? We're actually done?
Trevor, if you want to mention something real quick about the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, I don't know if you had a thought about that before we wrap up. But
So the one thing that I think that is really good about it is that they've kind of taken the same approach that they did with Star Tours, in that the ride is actually different every time you do it now. And it's not like the Tower of Terror in Florida, where it's just random. Yeah, so it's not just random drop sequences. What it is they actually have it queued to music now. So there's 6 different tracks currently that they're using from the movie, and the ride goes in queue with the music, which I think is really, really great, and I think it just brings it to that next level. And then also they can expand on it later when when new movies and stuff like that come out. So
I'm calling lame on it, but that's just me.
You should, if you're calling lame on it, I would suggest you can look up videos. They do have ride footage now. It looks pretty cool. I was skeptical, but they did a really nice job with it. With these overlays, sometimes you're always just like, who knows how it's going to turn out, right? And Frozen is pretty well done, I would say.
I would agree with that.
I mean, I think they're starting to think these things through. They're not just slapping it on and saying good. Like they're really rethinking them from start to finish.
Again, you know my whole take on all of this. Build new rides. Let the old rides stay classic. Build new rides. I'm not for these refreshes, revamps, reasons. I want to go back and, like I said, I want to go to River Country.
That
was my. That the first time I went to Disney was when River Country was open. Bring it back. I always I'm a compare and contrast kind of guy, so I can't wait to go to the new, Volcano Bay? I think that opens up.
Oh, at Universal, yeah.
Kind of compare that, because I think that the water parks at Disney are top notch, so I always like to compare things. All right, I'm wrapping up, though, because we're way too long.
We're way too long today.
We're way too long.
We kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. We had a lot to talk about.
We did. We definitely had a lot to talk about. So a couple things. Our email address is welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. You can check out the website, which has a lot of information on it, welcomehomepodcast.com. We've actually gotten a lot of nice fan mail, which has been great for us. We've gotten some questions, also great for us, and just some general feedback. We love that.
We haven't gotten anything mean yet, so that's good.
No, not yet. But you know what? We'll know that we're big time when we've gotten some mean stuff too. So that being said, if you want to send mean stuff, we're all for that too. You can find us on Facebook at Welcome Home Podcast, Twitter at Welcome Home Pod, Instagram, which I hear some rumors that when Tom goes, they're going to take that over and do some stuff, is at Welcome Home Pics. And please help us by reviewing us on iTunes or any other service, because that actually helps more people find us, which means more questions, which means more stuff. And listen, if we hit a super high number, I heard Tom said he'll do one every day. It might just be him. But he'll do one every day.
Sometimes I feel that we do these long shows that we could just we could probably talk for every day. I mean, there's enough to talk about, right? Yep. I always think we're going to run out of topics, but we never seem to. So, so all that being said, thanks so much for listening to us. We have had a tremendous amount of listeners, more than we probably could have ever imagined within 5 episodes. So thank you all for listening. We really, really appreciate it. If you enjoy this show, please share with a friend, like our page. Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can get every episode as soon as it gets released. Put that thing on auto download so you don't even have to download it. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, as always, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. Hopefully you actually are being entertained by this as we just ramble on about Disney things. But we are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions are expressed on the show are our own. Please make sure you're consulting a DVC representative, a cast member, Disney websites to verify any of the information that we are giving you on this show. You can find me, Tom, on PrinceCharmingVacations.com for all your Disney vacation planning needs. Damon?
BSCkids.com for all your Disney television show stuff.
And thank you guys so much.
You find Trevor in Canada.
You can,
just in case you're wondering, you find Trevor in Canada.
If you're in Canada, go talk to Trevor about
Hit
Disney.
me up, guys.
He will talk to you. So thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, Disney Vacation Club talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
When we hit a chair, how she can cuddle is no